Hi, it's Olga, and the project I'm presenting today is a pocket letter. This one is titled The Earth and the Air, so I will mostly be using brown paper with the heat embossed vellum overlays to represent those two elements. Many people ask what to do with the pocket letters once they are finished. Well, they should be mailed, swapped with your crafty friends, and then you can build up your own collection of pocket letters from all over the world. I will be using a 9-pocket clear plastic page as a base for the pocket letter. I have also used one of the PINPOINT dies by Memory Box to cut out the cards. They measure 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Next, I'm going to do some tone-on-tone stamping, so I'm using VersaFine ink. The color is called Vintage Sepia, and this stamp is Worn Chessboard by Gummiapan. All the stamps I'm going to use today are by this company. I'm stamping this image a couple of times on all the 9 cards. I used the same die to make other 9 cards out of Nina Desert Storm cardstock. And now I'm going to stick those cards back to back. It's just to make them sturdier. This step is totally optional though. And this is the easy way to align the 2 cards. You just align one edge and then you close them up like a book. And this way all 4 sides will be perfectly aligned. I'm going to place one of the cards inside the pocket in the center of this page, and then I'm going to work on the rest 8 of them. I'm going to create vellum overlays for all 8 cards, so I have used the die from Old Letters die set by Gummiapan to cut out these shapes. They are just slightly smaller than my cards. I'm going to use a bunch of wildflower and grass stamps. I'm going to stamp the image using Versamark ink on a piece of vellum, and I will also add some grass blades. Then I'm going to apply some heat embossing powder. The one I'm using is Opaque Bright White by Wow. I'm sweeping off the excess powder with a brush, and then I'm going to heat set the image. And this is the way I'm going to make all the remaining vellum overlays, stamping the images and then heat embossing them. As I only have 4 white wildflower images, I'm going to use each of them twice. When I'm done with the heat embossing, I'm also going to add some interest to the background using the Distress Spritzer by Tim Holtz. I'm placing a ground espresso distress marker inside, and then I'm starting to spritz the ink all over the surface. It creates a really fine and soft mist. I will repeat this step on all 8 cards. Now I'm going to use the heat tool again, and this time it's to dry the ink splats. This way they will not be smudged afterwards. It's okay if the embossing powder melts again, because it's going to cool down and it will be as good as new. As a finishing touch, I'm also going to attach some small self-adhesive pearls around the flowers. Now I'm going to curl up the edges of the cards with my fingers or using the stick. This will enhance the old paper look. Now all the vellum cards are ready, and I'm going to attach them to the brown ones. I'm applying the glue only behind the heat embossed flowers and behind the pearls. This way it's not going to be visible. And now I'm just going to tuck all the cards into the pockets. I'm going to use the nesting oval dies, these are by Memory Box, to create an oval frame to put on top of my page. I have used 3 sizes of ovals to create the layers as well as the frame. And now I'm going to assemble my frame. First I'm attaching the brown paper on top of the cardstock. It's just to make it a bit sturdier. The next oval is a bit smaller. I have repurposed the old sheet music to make it. The next layer is vellum, and before I attach it, I'm going to do some heat embossing on this one as well. This time I'll be using the combination of 2 grass stamps. They are actually called Grass 1 and Grass 2. Now I'm going to apply the white embossing powder and heat set the image. I'm adding some splattering, just as I did with the rectangular cards. Then I'm applying some glue behind the grass images, as well as all around the edge. And then I'm sticking this vellum on top of the sheet music. For my focal image, I'm going to use this Lavender die by Memory Box. I'm going to add some color to it by heat embossing. So I'm covering the entire image with Versamark ink. And this time I'm going to use the gold embossing powder. The one I'm using here is by Ranger. Now I'm going to add another layer of heat embossing to this image. So I'm applying the ink again, as well as the embossing powder, and heat setting it. I'm going to use a really fun product. It's colored foam tape. It's actually a double-sided mounting tape, but it is colored brown instead of being white. There are also 2 foam square sheets in this set, and they are different sizes, and they are also brown. They are just perfect for working with craft or a brown cardstock. I'm cutting the small foam squares in 2 to make them even smaller, and I'm attaching those tiny pieces behind the flowers. This way I can create more dimension on my project. As for the foam tape, I'm going to cut it alongside in 3 because my frame is rather thin. Then I'm removing the lining from both sides, and the tape becomes really pliable, and I can attach it all around the frame without cutting it. When the first layer of foam is done, I'm also going to add another layer. I just keep attaching the strips of foam, and they stick really nicely. Then I'm going to attach the frame on top of the background, making sure the edges are well aligned. I'm going to place my gold embossed flowers inside the oval frame using some liquid glue. I'm holding them down a little bit until the glue dries. Then, as always, I'm using the hot glue to attach the frame right on top of the plastic page. The only thing missing now is a sentiment, so I'm going to create it. I have the sentiment gold embossed on a strip of vellum. The stamp is by the same producer, Gummiapan Die. Now I'm curling the edges around the wooden skewer to create a scroll banner. I'm curling up one end outwards and another end inwards. Then I'm applying some hot glue only behind the scrolls. This way it's not going to be visible. And then I'm attaching it on top of the page. The page is nearly finished. I just have to add some pearls as a finishing touch. And then I'm going to add a couple of tags to the page. That's the thing that I always do. I'm going to use a pair of matching dies by Poppy Stamps to create my tags. Again, I have created some layers out of paper, vellum and sheet music, and before I assemble them I'm also going to add the sentiment stamping, and this teeny tiny one is also by Gummiapan and it reads "Just Because." I'm not sure if you can see it here. I'm heat setting the ink so it's not going to smudge on top of the vellum. And then I'm going to assemble my tag. Just like with the oval frame, I'm placing the notes on top of the backing, then I'm attaching the vellum, and then I'm placing my frame on top. This time it's a hard tag. This is the same lavender die I used for my focal image, and this time I have a die cut out of white cardstock, and I'm clipping the grass blades apart. Then I'm going to arrange those flowers and the grass on top of the tag. And once I'm happy with the arrangement, I'm sticking them down. I'm trimming off everything that hangs off the edge of the tag. And now the first tag is finished. To make the second one, I have die cut the tag image out of brown paper using those tiny dies by Poppy Stamps. Now with an embossing marker, I'm writing down the number 13 because it's the 13th pocket letter that I am making. I'm going to gold emboss this number. Now I'm attaching the two tags back to back to create one double-sided tag. Then I'm going to tie up a piece of twine to each of the tags. Then I'm tying up both tags to the page, and my pocket letter is finished. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you would like to see more, just tap any picture that you can see in the screen. Have a great day, and I hope to see you again really soon.